Tonight, a teenager faces court accused of murdering his mother and two siblings at their Perth home.
A man jailed over a frightening road rage incident.
The world waits as Donald Trump prepares for his summit with Vladimir Putin.
This is NBN News with Lobb and Natasha Beyersdorf.
Good evening. A family has been torn apart, allegedly at the hands of one of its own. A teenager is accused of killing his mother, his 15-year-old sister and his 8-year-old brother at their Perth home. Today, Tea-income Vernon Peterson Crofts fronted court, breaking down in an apparent psychotic episode.
A mother and her two children killed in an attack so frenzied even hardened detectives were shocked to their core. Michelle Peterson, known as Shelley, her 15-year-old daughter Bella and 8-year-old son Rua, close friends, posted their grief.
I'm so devastated. And I'm sitting here grieving for the whole family.
The family was found in their home in Ellenbrook, northeast of Perth, early yesterday. The mother and son already dead when police arrived. Bella died on the way to hospital. Other siblings have been left to deal with the loss.
He was like a blessing to my mum. You know, he really was. Like, awesome kid. And Bella, she was wicked, you know. They were both of mum's babies. I just feel so sad.
Bella's friends too.
I couldn't believe it. Like, I didn't think it would be true. Like, I know it's just hard to, take in. Just never would have thought anything like that would happen, especially to family like that.
Tea-income Vernon Peterson Crofts appeared in court charged with 3 counts of murder. Police allege he left the home and went to a nearby 7-Eleven where he contacted 000, alerting them to the crime scene. There they found a large pair of scissors. Today, handcuffed to a security guard in the dock, the 19-year-old started rambling. The magistrate, concerned for his mental health, remanded him to a high-security psychiatric facility ahead of his next court hearing. From New Zealand, Shelley Peterson was, friends say, starting to pull her life together after a long, rough patch.
She had Rua and he was the light of her life. She just loved him. And it's so sad that he's gone too. Such a cute little boy.
Tony Atta has set up a GoFundMe page to raise money for the 3 funerals. Eddie Meyer, NBN News.
His chainsaw-wielding rampage terrorised a packed Sydney street, and today he'd paid the price. 25-year-old Allah El Zain has been jailed for at least a year for his road rage attack, which made headlines earlier this year.
Allah El Zain hid under his hoodie armed only with a bottle of water. Quite the contrast to April 10, when the bare-chested 25-year-old staged a frightening attack in public with a live chainsaw. The former ice addict turned self-employed arborist was caught on dash cam repeatedly punching a driver in the head in a peak hour traffic jam on the Horsley Drive at Fairfield. The road rage incident escalating when Al Zain returned to his work ute and grabbed the power tool, waving it as he walked the busy street. A mechanic may have grabbed a wrench, a musician a violin, his barrister told the court. The magistrate described the display as disgraceful. I can't imagine the fear and trepidation of those in the community. A chainsaw. The very sound engenders such fear Hollywood producers for years have created films on the virtue of how dangerous they are. Already on a good behaviour bond, Al Zain was sentenced to a minimum 12 months jail. His immediate appeal for bail was refused, meaning he now runs the risks of being behind bars when his wife gives birth in December.
Does your husband belong in jail?
Al Zain's lawyers say they will appeal.
On what grounds are you appealing, Mr. Hughes?
Severity of the penalty.
Tim Davies, NBN News.
Despite global concern, Donald Trump met Kim Jong-un without any hiccups. But what will happen when he meets Russian President Vladimir Putin in Finland this evening? The US President doesn't want anyone getting their hopes up as he ends his tumultuous European tour.
Arriving in Finland for his next showdown.
They go in with low expectations, not going with high expectations.
The unpredictable president sounding unprepared for his first sit-down meeting with Vladimir Putin.
I have absolutely, it was mutually agreed, let's have a meeting. I think it's a good thing to meet. I do believe in meetings. Nothing bad's going to come out of it. and maybe some good will come out.
One thing is certain, the president says he will ask Mr. Putin about the 12 Russians indicted for meddling in the 2016 US election, the timing of which sparked calls to cancel the summit.
I would say, in fact, it strengthens his hand. I think the president can put this on the table and say, this is a serious matter, we need to talk about it.
Also on the agenda, extending both countries' nuclear weapons treaty, North Korea, Russia's role in Syria, and annexation of Crimea, over which the US has imposed heavy sanctions. Helsinki is preparing in its own way. Security's been beefed up as protesters take to the streets. Trump and Putin will meet at the presidential palace. The leaders will begin their talks without any aids, raising concerns about what President Putin, notoriously well prepared, could talk his way in or out of.
I think we could probably get along very well. Somebody said, are you friends or enemies? I said, well, it's too early to say, but right now I'd say we're competitors.
Competitors now vying for the limelight as the world watches on.
Benjamin Batterham, the man accused of murdering an alleged intruder at his Newcastle home, has successfully appealed part of his sentence for drink driving. The 35-year-old was caught more than 3 times over the limit, a breach of his $200,000 bail.
Accused killer and convicted drink driver Benjamin Batterham in his latest court appearance. This one an appeal over his sentence for high-range DUI, an offence he committed last December while on bail charged with the murder of Ricky Slater-Dixon. Today, Batterham's barrister, Winston Terracini SC, sought to have 100 hours of community service dropped, claiming if that remains, there will be publicity from the media and members of the deceased's family. Batterham is accused of chasing down and killing Mr. Slater-Dixon after allegedly finding him in his Hamilton home in March 2016. Mr. Terracini said given the rare and exceptional nature of the case, his client was the focus of intense public interest and had also received death threats. The 35-year-old has already spent more than a month in a maximum security prison, much of it in protective custody, following the drink driving offence. While his community service order was dropped today, Judge Philip Mahoney increased the fine from $500 to $2,000. Batterham will return to court next month for a committal hearing, which will focus on the cause of Mr. Slater-Dixon's death. The outcome of that will likely determine whether Batterham will stand trial for murder. Tyson Cottrell, NBN News.
Police have called for public help as they hunt 3 men over a vicious attack on an elderly man at Cardiff, believed to be a case of mistaken identity. As reporter Stephen Mount explains, the 77-year-old was bashed and robbed and left without the means to call for help.
In a case of mistaken identity, an elderly man faced his worst fears in his home in Pennyland Street, Cardiff, around 1 a.m. on Sunday morning, just 3 days after moving in. Police say 3 armed intruders forced their way into the 77-year-old's home, confronting him with a firearm. Alarmed, the man fought back and was struck with the gun before the trio left with his wallet, phone and car keys, leaving him to seek help from neighbours for head injuries and to contact police. Investigations are continuing and police are urging anyone with information to come forward. NBN News spoke to the victim's family today, who said he's received stitches for a head wound, but he's in good spirits considering the experience he's been through. Residents in the street say the house has a checkered history.
Stephen Mount reporting there. A cyclist was rushed to hospital suffering head injuries after being clipped by a car on Maitland Road at Islington yesterday evening. The Mayfield man came off his bike near the Elizabeth Street intersection. The car left the scene, but police made an arrest a short time later after it hit a parked vehicle. A 36-year-old man is due to face court next month.
One half of Australia's longest-running breakfast radio partnership has lost his battle with cancer. David Collins passed away last night. Today, he was remembered as a man who was generous, opinionated and wickedly funny.